recording our lesson. Okay, as I said, it's a pleasure to get to actually see you face to face. And we discussed last time that we were going to go through the vocabulary, which, of course, as I showed you, I did. But I noticed something I didn't do during that homework that I probably should have touched on, and I don't know why I didn't. I didn't really emphasize when I put all those words there, the la, or just the L comma and stuff like that. So looking
Yeah.
at those words, I know what they are, but I'm not going to know if they're masculine or feminine. Some I do
Oh,
because of Preply, Il Cafe, things like that, which will be easy to remember. But I probably should have focused a little bit more on that. And I'm still going to have questions when it comes to like the Lee as far as the GLI, if you know what I'm saying. So thanks to
yes.
that extent. But with this lesson, like we talked about last time, focusing kind of on the me, see, things to that extent. I'm sorry to get right to business. I don't mean to do it that way. It's good to see you again and everything, of course. But, um, so yeah, it was just mostly that, just trying to figure out exactly what it is that I'm missing. I want to make sure that I'm getting all this stuff right. And let me see
Mhm.
what it was that we did talk about last time. While I got you on here, I'm pulling up the chat while we're talking so I can remember what the two things were. And like I said, me, see, T, I think was the other one. And what was the other?
The verb avere, like when we use o, I,
Yeah, it was the
was
como T, things like that. But then there was one other one that I remembered I was going to go over. We talked about whether it would be ragazzo, Americano, ragazzo. And there was one more, and I don't know why I'm not seeing it. What was the other one I was talking about? Oh, yeah,
um,
you were right. I, A, O. Like, I know
and
it's to have.
okay. That's exactly what we're gonna start. When you talk about me,
Sorry, I hit the wrong button. Go on again. When you get into the I, okay.
the things that you are asking from me are a little overboard your level. Like you are still not in that level to know like me, T, C,
Okay.
because they're actually A2 level. But what I can say to you about them, just so you know the basic, is that I will just write and go to the. I cannot share my whiteboard with you, so
Oh,
I
even
will
with the
open
cell phone, you can't? Hmm.
with cell phone, tablets, iPads. I can, but when you are with laptop, yes, I can.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'm gonna be explaining to you about what you said is gonna be like really basic. It's practically that we use me to express something that is mine.
Oh, this.
For example, mi amo. So it's my name. It's something mine.
Oh, jeez.
Or mi lavo. Sorry, I wrote it wrong.
Oh, you're fine.
Mi lavo. So it's an action that I do. So what I'm gonna add here, something mine, an action that I am doing right now. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Sorry if I do some mistakes in English. Okay, so this is when it comes to the pronoun me. And when it comes to he, is when you are doing the action. So you in singular. So you are doing the action. For example, tu ti chiami. So you are named. So it's your name, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Or it's yours. I will add it here as well because, or when something is yours, okay? Or for example, tu ti lavi, tu ti svegli. So it's an action that you are doing. And when we talk about see, is an action is being done by he or she. Okay?
Okay.
And the examples we can take is lei si lava, lui si lava, lui
He, she. Okay.
si, yes, si chiama, lei si chiama. So that's practically probably what you have seen in the book as well. When you get presented with me TC, it's exactly these situations. Actually, not even with the verbs. I went a little overboard even here. But what you can learn as a A1 level, it's the names. So you are named, or she is named, or I am named. Okay?
Now, is this kind of like first person, second person, third person?
Exactly. But it's personal pronouns.
Yeah, I think I kind of understand. I'm having to learn the exact same thing right now when it comes to Latin. Okay, so basically, what we're understanding here, when you said the mi chiamo, that's first person. So mi
Yes.
chiamo is basically, that's why I'm saying my name is Daniel. Mi chiamo Daniel. Now, you're
Mm-hmm.
saying the ti chiamo, which a lot of people are going to ask if they're saying, what's your name? So that's basically, now we're talking about second person, the second person in the conversation being the person you're talking to, the you, right?
I did a, here I did a mistake. I
Okay.
wrote O, but it's E.
What was that
Okay.
sound effect?
Oh,
Did
sorry, it's my phone. Sorry.
Oh, it was so
Messages
funny
on.
because when you did that, it was like boing boing, kind of like kind of the same thing
Yeah,
you hear on
mistake.
TV when you actually make a mistake.
No, no, no. I do. With kids, yeah, with kids, I do some sounds, but not the case.
I was about to say, did she somehow manipulate her laptop when she says she fixes a mistake that it does that? I was like, how the heck did she do that?
No, no,
I'm
no.
highly
I
impressed, Angela. Okay. Um, no, but okay. So mi chiamo first person, ti chiamo. But how do they usually
no.
ask that question when they say, "What is your name"?
Sorry. Sorry.
No, that's right. God bless.
Chiami. Ti chiami, not ti chiamo. I did a mistake here. I just corrected it. Do
Tutti
you see?
chiami. Yep, tutti
Chiami.
chiami.
Yes. And to ask how somebody is named would be
Como ti chiamo?
come
Come
ti
ti
chiami.
chiamo. Or chiami. Okay.
As I told you, here I did a mistake. Tu ti chiami. I wrote it wrongly. I
Okay.
continued, but I corrected that, and it's like this: come ti chiami.
Okay. Como ti
And the
chiami.
answer, yes, the answer would be io mi chiamo. Okay?
Okay, and as far as if I was to say what's his or her name, that's when we get into the not the C or the C.
Etosi. Come si chiama?
Okay. And then
What he or she named.
now in Italian, when we say that, is it Chiami or Chiama or whatever? Is it going to be a little bit different to define whether it's a he or a she?
No. In
Okay.
this case, no. Lui si chiama, lei si chiama. It's the same.
So it's almost like a neutered, what do they call that? Like a neutered pronoun.
It's not a neuter pronoun because you always add this lui, lei, so you already know for the gender. But yeah, you can consider it like that as well. You
Okay.
know, these verbs are like this because there exists. That's the part that I don't want to enter because I think it's a little
I
too
understand. Too
early.
advanced. Too advanced. I
But
get it.
there are two ways to use the verb chiamare. The first is like normal verb chiamare, and the second one is chiamarsi. And this is something that it's part of us, so that's something mine. When we say this chiamarsi, then we know that we are talking about something that belongs to us,
Okay.
property.
I've never even
Let's
seen
see.
either one of these words, Angela. The chiamare and the chiamarsi. I haven't seen either one of
Chiamare,
those. Nope, I haven't
that
seen the chiamare either.
chiamare is the verb chiamo, like what you are used. In order to have the conjugated verb, you have the mother verb. Let's say it like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like chiamare is the mother verb. And practically this verb, you are going a little overboard here, and you need to understand that that's why I want to be structured in our lessons,
Sure, sure.
because it's too much information, I think, for you at the moment. But anyways,
I
a
think I
verb,
got
the
it.
mother, but, not because you don't get it, but
I get it.
because
The structure you want to go with, you want to start and you want to build up and have a foundation. I get it.
exactly. Let me explain you now. Chiamare is the mother verb. Consider it like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then this mother verb, when it's a regular verb, so in this case, yes, we do have a regular verb.
Mm-hmm.
I will write it here. It's divided or is built up by two parts. The part that is in yellow, it's called like roots, yes, like the roots. And the last part that is in white is like the suffixes. I don't know if it's I'm pronouncing correct, but the end of the word.
Okay.
And when we conjugate a verb, when the verb is regular, I wrote 2 times regular. Sorry for that, regular verb.
That's just because it's
So
really regular. I get it.
yeah, true. So one thing that is very nice and helpful in Italian is that for this stuff there are rules,
Yeah.
and that's why it's important to know when a verb is regular, when a verb is not regular. And we
Mm-hmm.
have io, tu, lui, lei, and you will understand why I left tu, lei. Noi, voi, and loro. So these are the personal pronouns.
Loro
And
is they, voi is you, and the second plural. So, in other words, it's similar to Latin. I understand because I'm learning this in Latin. So, the loro is going to be they, and then
Yes.
you're going to have the voi. That would be the second you, or the plural you, like you all.
Yes,
And
yes,
then the first one is going to be we.
yes.
See, I
The
told you
way,
I'll get this faster than you think because doing Latin in the other classes, I understand.
I mean,
I respect the structure. We'll do the structure, but I'll pick it up pretty fast.
yeah, but the idea is that the personal pronouns in every language are the same.
I know.
Like
I know.
they go the same in the for all. But what I mean by like, let's get a little to this. You said you don't
Sure.
know what this verb is. I told you chiamare, mother verb. Let's call it like mother verb.
Okay.
And then we have the roots and the suffixes. And the only thing that will change in our word, in this case, while we conjugate this verb, is gonna be the suffix. So while we conjugate a regular verb, the root remains the same. To make it more clear for you, I will just write the same thing over all these personal pronouns. So
Yeah, I think the word you were trying to say is suffix, but I know what you
yeah,
mean. Yep.
but I was saying that right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. You were doing a great job.
So, and the thing that will change would be the suffix. So, io chiamo, tu chiami, lui, lei chiama, noi chiamiamo, voi chiamate,
This is Latin.
loro chiamano. Yeah, it's a Latin,
Oh,
third
I
language.
understand Italian's the closest language to Latin. I get that, but I'm saying literally, it's like basically step by step by step. Okay.
Okay, and if no, sorry, here. And what I'm trying to do in red is gonna be like the suffix that is we changed.
Okay. Thank you. That's cool.
Yeah. And all of these verbs that we are going to be conjugating that are regular will have the same suffixes. For example, if we go to the verb, we are going a little too much now with the verbs, but this is present tense, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If we say, for example, where is the difference now between chiamarsi and chiamare and chiamarsi? Chiamare is to call somebody. Per
I see.
esempio,
Okay.
io chiamo mia mamma e gli chiedo cosa cucinare. So I call my mom, not call per se on the phone, but even if she's in the other room. And you
Mm-hmm.
say, Mom, and you say, io chiamo mamma.
Yeah.
So yeah, chiamare is this in this meaning here. Chiamarsi is that io mi chiamo. So like I am named, as I told you, it's something that is property of yourself, okay?
Yeah.
Something that will help us in the future is going to be, for example, we will repeat this again, but I'm just going to go on with it now that we started. So, we have the verb parlare. And parlare means to talk, right?
Yep.
And I will write here to call somebody. And I will just go here and say, from what you understood, parlare has parl as root of the verb, and
Yep.
are is a suffix. So we will go and say, wait just a second, automatico. So
Io parlo
parlo
inglese. I'm sorry, io
inglese.
parlo inglese. Sorry. I was about to
Yes,
correct myself, but okay.
you did good. You tried, and I really like when students try. Tu parli, lui, lei parla, noi parliamo, voi parlate,
Why is this thing not wanting to focus? Sorry, I was
e loro,
upset with my tablet. Go on, I'm sorry.
okay? E loro parlano. And this is considered the first group of verbs. And the first group of verbs are the verbs that end in are.
Okay.
I
Cool.
will do it both and like this. So practically what we did today is learn how to conjugate on the first group of the verbs in present tense, okay?
Yeah.
Present simple.
Cool.
Presente semplice. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Is it more clear or?
Oh, it's very clear. Now, if I was to say I speak Spanish, it would be io parlo spagnolo.
Yes.
Okay.
Io parlo spagnolo.
Okay. And so weird. I know how to say Spanish and not English correctly, but whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's more clear for you now, right?
Very much so. I don't think I'm going to have too much problems with this. It's not, in my opinion, it's not that complicated. Now, I say that, but once I watch TV or I take a break or something like that and then come back to a lesson and I've gone 2 or 3 days without going over it, then I'll have to go back through it all over again and embarrass myself because I forgot some of it.
It doesn't necessarily be embarrassing, but like, yeah, you're gonna have, I think it's not difficult, but yeah.
No.
And I think that you can have some kind of app that can record right from the iPad. Like you can find in the App Store or
I'll look
Google
for it.
Store.
I'm going to see.
There should be one way, like for you not to be carrying it, or I don't know.
It's
And
strange to have to do it that way, I know, but it kind of just, what do they call that? I'm kind of jury rigging this. Now you said it's a little too advanced to get into the I, O, and ah right now.
No, no, no. That is the basic of the basics. That is like one of the first things I say to my students. But maybe on the first lesson we didn't. I didn't mention it to you. I don't. I
Yeah,
don't know why.
yeah. I don't think we
So
went through those yet. The
what
those are the
you
only
were?
three I don't remember. I know they all mean have. I just don't
Yeah.
know how they're used in sentences.
They are used like the verb have is used, like to have something to be.
Oh no, I don't
Some,
mean that. I mean I don't know when they're going to fit in a sentence, when it's going to be the HAI, when it's going to just be HA, or when it's going to be the HO. I don't know when to use them. I know that they all mean have. I just don't know when to put them in a sentence. That's what I
okay.
meant.
Io, tu, lui, lei, and lei, noi, voi, il loro. So I'm gonna start conjugating for you now, and
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be like this. Io ho, tu hai,
Okay.
lui, lei ha.
Now I can still see this on my tablet. Is that better for you now that you can see me clearly?
No, it's the same for me. Like I am looking at the word, I'm not
Okay.
actually even looking at you. So, noi abbiamo,
Oh.
voi avete, e loro hanno.
Oh, there's three I wasn't even aware of. Okay.
Yes. So, these are the singular, and these are the three plural ones.
Okay.
Okay. One more thing that I can say and I can share with you right now, even though I still think that is a little too much,
Okay.
but is do you notice something that why do we have two lay? And one of them is with capital letters.
Yeah, I was looking at that and kind of wondering it myself, but I was gonna wait and see if you brought it up.
Um, lay with capital letters is used for form of respect. So when you refer to your boss, when you refer to your superiors, to an elderly or I don't know, somebody that is like, that you have to talk with respect, you use lay. So what I mean by that is that when you talk to these people, you don't say, for example, in my language, we say voi for respect, so you in plural. Um, but in Italian, we use the third singular personal pronoun. So if you talk with your superior, you have to say, per caso ha la matita? Oppure, or with your colleagues, per caso avete il libro? I'm just saying some random scenarios here. So, like when you refer to them, you have to use the third pronoun.
Okay. Now, when you said delay capital, is that for both men and women, or is that specifically like for women?
Capo?
No,
No.
delay in Italian. The one with the
No, no, no. Not specific. Is for both of them.
I see. That's what I was just kind of curious about because when I saw that, I did. I don't mean to no offense when I was about to say this, but I was thinking, okay, for some women they just want more respect on the name, and that's what I assumed there. Because with men, I was just like Louis, don't care.
No. That's why I said with the boss or with the director or with whoever, elderly, if it's a male, female, you always use lei as a form of respect.
Okay.
Doesn't matter male or female. Okay?
Okay. So just
Is
looking at this again, it's avare, you said, and then
avere.
evere. Sorry. Okay. So io o tu hai lui, lei ha, and then noi abbiamo,
Mm-hmm.
and then voi avete, and then
Ah. Ah. Open your mouth. Say ah.
ah. Oh,
Bravo.
it's. I'm gonna continue to do this with the A. I gotta stop doing that. I know it's the German A, and I don't know why I do it. Okay, Laurel Ano.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the understanding here is this is the way to basically just say, okay, I have, you have, he, she, or the respect for he or she has. We have, you all have, they have.
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
If it is like,
All right.
okay.
So I basically got an understanding there. Now we basically touched on all the other stuff we were talking about, except for now, I guess the last thing we were going to work on was me just remembering, and I used only the example of ragazzo, ragazza, because I know in some of the sentences when I'm going over in the Preply app, and it explains sometimes that in the way we say English, I would say my American girlfriend, my Italian girlfriend, my Spanish girlfriend, whatever it might be. But it's kind of flipped on its head in Italian, from what I understand.
Mm, so let's go to that. You are taking a lot of stuff for one lesson, by the way, but you do you. You are choosing the way you want to study, so
No,
I
no,
think
it's not
it's
that. Because here's the thing, and this is the God's honest truth. We're going to do it the way you're doing it. The only reason I added one extra lesson, I'm doing this kind of on the Preply app. I do kind of jump ahead a little bit in some ways. But as far as your structured learning goes, and this is the God's honest truth, as far as that structured learning goes, tomorrow we're just going to go right back to your structured learning.
don't worry, don't worry. We can do as it feels right, like
I
we
want
don't
to
have
I
to
want
do
to
it.
do both. I want to do your method, and I might book the occasional extra lesson just for some of the Preply stuff I'm doing because I like the head starts because the way my brain works, I'm a slow learner. So if I get head starts on certain things, when I encounter those next lessons, I'm not like just completely devastated in a lesson where I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't get none of this. That's why I jump ahead a little bit. That's the only reason why I do that, Angela.
Don't worry. As I told, for me, it's not a problem.
Okay.
So you don't have to explain yourself in this.
All right.
I try to create this. Okay. So I will explain something that you said that already know. I sostantivi, they are called. So the names. I think I told you this yesterday as well.
We might have went over
So
that. Yeah.
maschile and femminile. And here I'm gonna write plural, singolare, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
and plurale.
Man, I wish I could type that fast.
And then we have in maschile singolare, I told you yesterday, we have the biggest group that ends in O and another group that ends in E. And in femminile, I will go very fast here because you told me you know this and you don't want to. For example, we have il ragazzo,
Mm-hmm.
and as a word with E, we would take, for example, lo studente. And from E it turns to E, and as well from E it turns to E. So from O it turns to E, and as well from A it turns to E. Okay?
Okay.
So we're gonna have I ragazzi e gli studenti. Until here you are okay. You know this, right?
I know everything except for the GLI, like we talked about. The O piece of cake. All this is piece of cake other than the GLI. That's the only one.
Mm-hmm. It cannot be the only one because if you knew law, then you would know li.
Okay.
It means that you don't know the rules. So we will go through that as well. You might have encountered them, but it doesn't mean that you know when to use them.
Oh no, that's
Because
true. No, you're right about that.
we have articoli determinativi. They are called like this for maschile articolo determinativo. I will write it here. It's il, lo, L with apostrophe, and for plurale, it's I and li. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But to that we will go maybe, I don't know how much time we have. We have like 20 more minutes, but maybe we will go a little later. And in femminile, we have la and L with apostrophe. And as plurale, they turn to le.
Okay.
So what we understand with that is that lo and L with apostrophe they turn to li in plurale.
I see.
And il turns to I.
Okay.
I will do.
I looked up some of the rules online. It said the low is used before words that start with S or something else. One other consonant. I can't remember.
Okay, I will explain to you the rules, but let us just go here.
Sure, sure.
So, in femminile, in singolare, we have the letter A in the end of the word. And we can have even the letter E. For example, I will take some very easy examples, la ragazza, and we might have, for example, la chiave. Okay?
Okay.
And from A, it turns to E. And from E, it turns to I. And this is what we did yesterday. Like this part I explained to you yesterday.
Yep.
So we have le ragazze, and we have le chiavi.
Okay. And these are the plural versions. Okay.
Sorry?
These are the plural versions.
Yes, plurale. Singolare is in up here, and plurale is here.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So, the rules are these when it comes to not exception words, like words that are part of some groups, and we have some rules. And the thing that you are asking me is that how do we manage the adjectives? Gli aggettivi seguono, they follow, le stesse regole come i sostantivi. Do you understand like what I try to say?
I don't know about the one on the bottom, but I'll explain this one on the top. You tell me if I got this right. We're looking at the eel in the beginning. That's the determinative. So basically, you're saying that's just kind of like we talked about earlier, just the root of the. Then the singular, we're going to get into, again, just singer, dummy, singular. It's not a singer, but anyway, singular. So, anyways, we're going to get the il ragazzo. In other words, the we said it's not just the boyfriend, it's also the, what is it? The man? The friend. Okay. All right. So the friend. Next one, la ragazza. Now we're talking about the feminine. And same thing, the friend, the girlfriend, the student, low student.
La ragazza is the girl. Il ragazzo is the guy, not a friend.
Oh, okay. No, that's all right. Cool. Okay. But as soon as we add the I at the end, now we're getting a plural. Now we make a plural. Same thing when we use the ye or li. I know you don't pronounce the G there. So, anyways, when you say the li, now we're talking about plural again, but it's in the masculine. All right. So that's the plural of low. So, for example, like we talked about with low, low is going to be used with words that start with S or start with another consonant. I can't remember what the other one is. Another letter, I mean. So.
Okay.
Go on, I'm sorry.
Forget about what you read there because it's not with S.
Okay.
It has the S in it, but it's different in a different way.
Okay. So, anyways, low, the plural of low is the li. The plural of the la is the lay. And the same. So, basically, that's all we're basically learning. You're talking about the ends. Kind of, what was that word you used earlier? And we went over the word, and you said, I think that's what I said. It was like the stem of a word or something like that. And you told me.
Yeah, but it's not the case. Like, this doesn't have a root. I mean, yes, you can consider it the root till ragaz, and then you change the suffix, but...
suffix, that's what I was trying to say. Okay.
Yeah, you can consider it like that.
Now, just at this last part, what was the very last sentence we were going over again?
So, your question was how for me to express la ragazza è americana, right?
Yep.
Or ragazza americana. So first of all, when it comes to nationalities, if your question is only for nationalities, the rule is kind of different. But as the rule of all adjectives, the adjectives will follow the same rules as the names. So if we have ragazzo bello, we will have ragazza bella. If we have ragazzi belli, we will have ragazze belle.
Now, isn't Bella beautiful?
Yeah. So
Okay.
practically what we are saying is that they will follow the same suffixes as the names. So if we have O here, we will have O here. If we have E here, we will have E here, and so on. Okay?
Yeah,
And
and
then
that was my point, though. You're saying exactly what I was saying, so I think I got this idea right. Because all of them start with the sex first. In other words, uh, in this case, man, man, or men, man, men, woman, women, and then it goes into the adjective that follows. That was my point. But in English, we don't do that, obviously. We do the opposite. I say a beautiful woman. You know what I mean? I don't say a woman beautiful. You know what I mean? Unless I'm saying she's beautiful or something to that extent. But you get my point. That's all I was asking.
practically it's the same in Italian as well, because to say, you can say che bella ragazza, exclamation. So it depends on the situation. I cannot say to you it's always like that. You have first the name and then the adjective. You have first the adjective or no. It depends on the situation.
Okay.
Like in this case, the adjective is before. So you say che bella ragazza. But to describe something, usually you use name and then adjective.
Usually. Okay. All right. That still gives
There
me a
is
fundamental rule. Okay.
Yeah, there is. You need to understand that most languages don't have an actual rule for some stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But
Oh, I get it. Trust me. I've learned a lot of languages that I'm learning. I know that a lot don't, especially Latin. It is a whole different thing.
it's a very old language, so it makes sense to not have rules. You know, it would be crazy if it had the rules.
Well, for example, and I'll just say this real quick. In Latin, you could say the man, the woman, and they go there. And it's like, wait a minute, what? Because the they there shouldn't be in a sentence, you would think, because it's already said he and she. But in Latin,
Yeah.
it still incorporates it anyways. And you just got to understand that's how their language is spoken. So I get it.
But here as well, you say like that in Italian. You say ragazza e ragazzi vanno a supermercato.
Probably
Or
comes from the Latin.
lui e lei is they.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like I
You don't.
said, I guess the fact that I'm learning Latin is going to help me a ton with Italian, I guess. Because the more I'm learning about that, I'm seeing a ton of the rules follow the same kind of format, I guess.
It's either gonna help you or it's gonna make you more confused. Like one of the two. Because I have a lot of students that are studying, for example, Spanish, and as you might know, all the languages have the roots or the branches from somewhere.
Yeah.
In this case, Spanish branch, Portuguese, Italian has the branch. The main branch is
Latin.
Latin.
Yep.
But as the perception and stigma is that yes, you will be helped by all the information you might think that you know. In my perspective, they just mess up more with your brain than actually help you. It might help you with vocabulary,
It'll help a lot
but
with
for
Italian because Italian, by far, is the closest link language to Latin right now. It's more than
yes,
Spanish, it's more than the others. And that's because you got to understand with Italy, being the church and Latin being
Mhm.
the original language, it just basically, it just
Yeah,
followed in.
yeah. Plus, Italian, all Italians learn Latin in their in the sorry, high school. Not all, but in some of the high schools, it's like mandatory.
Oh, so you had to learn Latin too, huh?
I didn't live in Italy before 5 years ago.
Oh, I
I came.
see.
I did university here, but
But you
how's
didn't
called
learn it at
like
high school.
yeah, I did back home. I mean, even university, I did only my second and master degree. My first one, I did half in Poland, half in Albania. So yeah,
Wow, that's impressive. Two masters, huh? That's crazy.
yeah, I'm doing my I don't know if I told you, I'm doing like my research for PhD now. Like I'm writing it, the proposal.
Wow.
Hopefully, in I will get my answer. But yeah,
No, you never told me all that. What are you getting your PhD in?
here in Italy, like where
Oh
I
no,
did
not
my.
not where. What are you getting your PhD in?
Ah, you don't know what I studied?
Mm-mm.
Okay, you don't know a lot of information about. Okay, I'm a biotechnologist as profession, first profession, and what I love the most apart from teaching. And
What did you
yeah, in
say? I didn't hear what you
bio,
said. You said you were something technologist.
no, biotechnologist.
Biotechnologist. Oh, you smart. Okay.
You think so? Yeah, maybe I
If
am.
you're
Maybe
doing
I'm not.
biotechnology, you're smart. Yes, I think so.
Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think so, well, actually. But sometimes being smart is a blessing, and sometimes is the worst that can happen. In a word like ours, sometimes it's not the best. But anyways,
Well, the biggest thing I think always to remember with education, as I want to further pursue mine as well, is to just always remember to remain humble. That's all. Other than
that
that, that's it.
that always.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if you noticed. You will notice that when you try to do the subscription the next time, I have raised the price, and
Okay.
from $5, it's gonna be like $8.
Okay.
But that's something that I will do for you and for one or two other students that I really appreciate because you were the first ones. Like if you, I know that you are doing a lot of classes, like you are having other,
Yeah.
so I will propose in case you will say to me, oh, look, I'm studying a lot and, Italian for me is not that important. Let's say it like this. Um,
What I'll say is
of course,
this: if you could just hold off for a couple months instead of doing it that way with me, why don't we stay at 5? But what I want to do with you, since if you cut me that break now, is that I'll pay you back on the back end. And I've done this with other tutors. And what I mean by that is I'm really working hard right now to find employment. I do receive disability because I'm on my second kidney transplant. But if I find further employment, at that moment, I'll have a discussion with you, and I might even move our lessons up to paying you like $11 an hour. And the reason I do stuff like that with tutors is for the simple fact I pay all my tutors, Angela, based off of how well I feel that I'm learning from them. I actually have a Tagalog tutor. She only charges like $10 a lesson. I pay her $25 a lesson. I've been doing that for a
I
while. So,
I said this to you because you said to me before that I understand this is our third lesson, but I changed my price because I feel like a lot of students are coming to me because of the price, and I don't like that.
I get it. I
Do you
absolutely
hear me?
understand. I'm sorry, Angela?
I thought I was asking if you heard me or not. So I
Yeah.
was saying, like, I feel like most of the students come just for the price, and I don't like that. Like, I understand I put a very low price. I did it for a reason, and of course, it's
Of course.
marketing. I wanted to get
Yeah.
students, but
It's to get some students on board and you can build from there. We're all going to start like that. We get it. There's nothing wrong
yeah,
with that, but you have a right, like you said, you got 40 some students now. Now it makes
yeah.
perfect sense to start saying, okay, I need to raise rates a little bit. You might have a
No, it's
couple
not.
drop off from that, but you'll still make more money and you'll have more time for yourself. And you're going to need that.
Exactly. It's not because of that. It's not because I have a lot of students and I'm raising the price. I'm raising because I feel like the students are not studying. And if they
Ah,
don't want to study, they better to go somewhere else that maybe I like my students to succeed. I like that my work, I put a lot of effort and I want that effort to be repaid.
I
That's
get
the
it.
main thing.
Totally
And that's
understand that.
the only reason why I started this conversation with you is because I know your way of thinking. You explained to me that you want to see how this works and stuff. So I'm gonna propose back to you the $5, and we will see the next month how it will go, and you know
Well, like
what
I
you told.
said, if you're willing, and it's only if you're willing, it might take me a couple months. I'm looking right now, and as I told you, to getting work right now. I'm applying down locally here at the Goodwill. One of the things in the United States, if you receive disability, as I've told you before, I am on my second kidney transplant. So I'm right now making a little bit less due to the fact that I'm on disability. But I plan on going back to work. And the thing about working here in the United States, which makes sense, if you are receiving disability and you go back to work, you can only make so much money. You're not allowed to just make an endless amount of money and stay on disability, which is
Yeah,
perfectly understandable.
but why don't you try Preply? You can be an English tutor.
Because I am nowhere near qualified yet in the other languages to teach those languages. And so until I feel extremely accomplished, I'd have to be C1 or C2 in those languages. And I want to wait till I'm at that point before I start offering a lesson because number one, you know all too well you got to also understand your mother language very well. And I don't just mean in the sense of being able to speak the language, but being able to articulate the rules of the language, conjugations, suffix, things to the extent. If I don't understand all the jargon, and if I don't understand the language I'm going to teach, it won't serve me too well to start lessons at that point. So I'm going to
No,
wait and hold off till then.
I'm saying for English. I'm saying why don't you do English lessons?
Oh, you mean why don't I take some English lessons in Preply?
Give English
No,
lessons in
that's
prep.
that was what I was telling you is
Okay,
because
okay.
I got to
Well,
learn the opposite languages to be able
okay,
to
okay.
then speak with my student. So
But
you have a pretty
actually,
good foundation in English. You can speak English fairly well.
there is not true. That is not true. Actually, I see. You can see. I mean, when I have time, I see. That's how I got to know Preply on TikTok, which is very unusual for me to see. But
Okay.
and there are students from South Africa, for example. Students, sorry, tutors from South Africa. They don't speak other language other than English and their own mother tongue language. I don't know how it's called, like the native one. So they do lessons here, and they do it in English. They do it like with fingers. They do it with flashcard. Like you can find what works best for you, but doesn't mean that you cannot do it. I
um,
mean, it's just a proposition, you do you, but you
yeah,
know.
no, I appreciate that, and I will definitely look into that. Also, I'm staying busy myself. Right now, I'm multitasking so much. Listen, I'm learning, as I told you, I'm learning 5 languages. On top of that, I'm learning guitar, I'm learning piano, and I'm a vocalist. So if
Okay.
you're doing a lot of things you know all too well, especially if you're going to university, or how would we say this, université? Is that it?
Università.
Università. Okay. So if you're going to università, you understand all too well, Angela, that that is
Mm,
incredibly hard. And I don't
I
know
do.
if
Yeah,
go
I do understand. I'm working in four positions right now. One is like I go and clean the rooms in one of the hotels here.
oh wow.
Do the classes in the why wow. Everybody keeps saying why wow.
No,
Like
because I'm wondering when you find the time. The reason they're saying wow is they're amazed by your ability. We're impressed. Because if
I,
you say, okay, I'm cleaning, I'm teaching 40 students, and I'm doing 2 masters, and then you say, yes, that's extremely impressive, Angela. People are going to admire that, and they're going to say, wow, you're doing, plus you're going for a PhD. Come on now. You can pat yourself on the back a little bit. It's okay. Humble's good, but there is a time when you can start to say, "Hey, I'm doing pretty good right now." So nothing wrong with giving yourself credit either. So that's pretty amazing.
I guess it's still not enough. But I mean, I'm doing all these jobs not because I want to actually. Like, if it was for me, I wouldn't go to clean the places.
I get it.
It's not because it's something that puts you down or anything. I love working, but university is expensive. You might know that, so you have to
I
pay
do.
off your stuff. But yeah, I go to the university and I give lessons as well, and probably taking a good amount of my time. But all in all, it's going very well. Like even when you do a lot of stuff, at least your mind stops thinking about not important stuff. So you
Well,
focus on what's important.
I'll say a prayer like we always do. My prayer this time for you, Angela, is going to be the fact that Preply takes off for you so well, and that as you start to raise your prices and things start to get better for you, that God will start to bless you even more, where you won't have to continue to be cleaning rooms, that Preply can take over as your primary career, and then from there, then you can move into your PhD, and of course, after that's done, you ain't gonna have to worry about Preply as a career for sure. But for now, you'll have it just to that
To
point.
be honest, yeah, I love teaching, so it might
It
take.
might.
I will continue. It's not stopping.
Yeah, I get
Okay.
it. All right.
Sure.
I know you got classes coming up, so or you probably got to get to sleep. Actually, I think it's what almost 9 o'clock there at night.
I have a class. I have a class at 9. At 8. Sorry, in like 3 minutes.
Okay, so after this, then is that your final class for the day?
Yes, yes. After this is final for
Okay.
today. Yesterday I worked till 12. Yesterday
Okay.
was the best.
Well, if you're in university and going for the PhD, you're going to be doing more than just going till 12. You're probably going to get hardly any sleep, but okay. Lord, we thank you so much, God, for this beautiful lesson, Lord. Lord, I thank you again for bringing Angela into my life as a wonderful tutor to continue to help and bless me so that I continue to learn Italian and spread the gospel for you, Lord. Almighty God, we ask right now that you just continue to bless Angela when it comes to her university right now and her studies, that she does finish that PhD, and at the same time that her life continues to prosper and she continues to receive blessings. At the same time, if you can keep her family and herself and her boyfriend and all those in her life that are important to her safe, and just bless them truthfully, abundantly, what a blessing that would be. Also, I ask that you just continue to help her have healthy relationships within her life, Lord, whether it be through work, personal, whatever it might be. And finally, just continue to bless those people around her and her students to know that they'll be healthy as well. I finally ask that you just continue to help everything prosper for her in Preply so that she no longer has to be doing two jobs. That just this just explodes for her. We ask that and we thank you, Almighty God. Amen. Truthfully, Angela, have a wonderful day. Thank you again for a beautiful lesson and for your understanding. We will definitely discuss the price things. Like I said, I'm going to continue to look for employment, see what happens from there. And I do mean what I said. After that, if I do find employment, I'm not going to do the $8 an hour with you. We'll move it to like $11 or something because you're very qualified in what you're doing. So we'll talk about that at that point, okay? So you take care of yourself and have a great day and enjoy your next lesson, okay?
Thank you.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. Good night. I mean, good day. I don't know if it's day.
Just
I
afternoon,
guess.
3 o'clock here. We're 6 hours behind you, so it's three here.
Yeah, I know. I know. I forgot my brother is there, so I just
Your
mixed
brother's
up.
here in
Okay, yeah.
America?
Yeah, my brother lives in America,
What
in
part?
Chicago.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, take care. All
Bye
right.
bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Okay, where's the thing here? Sorry, I'm trying to figure this out. Oh, here we go.